In Zimbabwe, the journey of intersex individuals and their families is marked by challenges that many of us may never fully comprehend. Intersex people, those born with physical sex characteristics that don't fit the typical definitions of male or female, often face significant barriers in accessing essential services and protections under the law.
My name is Dorcas Tatenda Chitio. I'm the project's coordinator at Health Law and Policy Consortium. We are currently implementing a project that is funded by the Love Alliance, focusing on promoting access to documentation, equal opportunities, recognition of intersex people.
My name is Gumisai Bonzo. I'm the director of an organization called Transmart Trust, which works with transgender persons and intersex persons. What motivated me was when we were approached in 2016 by a mother who was referred to us. We saw the challenges that the father was facing because the mother is run away. When she discovered that the baby she had given birth to was an intersex, and she didn't understand anything about how to take care of the baby. So I think the challenges that we faced as we were trying to assist the father motivated me to start working with children born as intersex babies.
My name is Kudakwashe Murisa. I'm from intersex community of Zimbabwe. I'm an intersex person, so I experienced a lot of challenges when I was growing up, simply because of the societal norms and values, and also the society does not accept the intersex persons. So we face a lot of challenges that includes stigma and discrimination, and also the issues of non-consensual surgeries that are being performed on intersex persons, and also lack of access to education.
Intersex people face challenges in respect to matters concerned with legal recognition due to the fact that we have a legal framework that is framed or based on binary classification of sex. And this binary classification is leaving out intersex people because they do not conform to this binary. They're neither male nor female. An intersex person, according to the definition given by the African Commission Resolution 552 on the protection of intersex children in Africa, says that this is someone who has ambiguous genitalia and they can have differences that manifest in their gonadal, hormonal, or chromosomal makeup. So they face a lot of challenges stemming from that fact that currently our policies and our legal position is of excluding them. They're not recognized.
There are only two recognized sexes, which is male and female. So when it comes to intersex persons, we are not recognized. So by that, we faced a lot of challenges. When an intersex person is born, they assign a sex, which is either male or a female. But then when you grow up, sometimes, you know, because of the biological makeup, it doesn't fit, it doesn't align with what you were assigned. And then you acquired documents, that is the national ID or birth certificate, which then becomes difficult to use when it doesn't fit, when it doesn't match your biological makeup.
Nindonzi Fungai Chireki, ndine makore 28. Ndakakura semusikana, ndakatokura ndichitopfeka masiketi. Saka kumusha kufamily unenge uchitonzi tete kana kuti maini. Side unenge uchidaidzwa side rechikazi. Pane pekuti ndorangara ndichikura ndiri grade 2. Mwana watete wangu ndakambogara nago. Pane mwana watete wangu akasvika potomudibata, zvekundibata neshamwari dzake kwandikorora hembe. Chitoyaone zvakaita uyu. Pandakazokura ndati kure. In fact chero ndaipfeka masiketi but pane pekuti wakura unenge wakumboita uchiteera tumabhebhi masiketi imo. Saka pane pekuti ukazofamba nepamba ukapfuura nepamba kana panasikana ukamhoresa anenge ari mawanda. Machansi ekurwiswa munharaunda chaimo anenge akawanda. Like anenge achitora like ngochana. Anenge asingazvinzwisisi. Ndakasvika pakusiyira chikoro panzira. Ndaifunga zvakanyanya zvekuti ndakambosvika pakuita 2 years ndisingafambi ndakastroka. Kumhuri ndingangoti ndakamboita challenge yokuti ndakambosvika pakutizirwa. Mukadzi akazotorwa zvake nefamily yake inge isingazvitambira.
Parents of intersex children recount their emotional journeys. Discovering their child's intersex status can be overwhelming. Many face a lack of understanding from the medical community, leading to decisions about surgeries that are often deemed corrective. Unfortunately, these procedures can result in lifelong physical and psychological consequences.
Ini ndinonzi Precious kana Mangwara, ndobva kuHeathcliff. Ndiri mubereki wemwana ari intersex. Inini ndakazoziva pakati mwana ndofunga anga ane 10 years. Saka ipapo ndakatofarawo nokuti kumashure kuzvanhu zvakatooma. Zvanhu zvakatooma singaiti zvoti kuchipatara kwacho havabvunze, havadi kubvunzwa, havatsanangure, havana counseling. Vanongoita zvavanongoda kungoita.
Ini ndinonzi Mai Tawanda, ndinobva kuBwera. Ndingati ndichibara mwana wangu ndaisaziva kuti ndozvaari. Saka hapana mbuya wakazoti mwana anga asingaite weti mwana uyu. Vakazoti tione mwana uyu kuti chii chekujika. Ndobva vamuona ndimbovaona kuti chimiro chaanga ari chacho kati dai wadzokera naye kupi kuchipatara. Ndobva ndadzoka naye panapo. Ndakaona umwe gogo wechikoro anzi Gogo Musikava. Ndobva ndati mwana wakaenda kuonekwa nemadhoktors. Ndaenda kwaMurambinda. Manamuna chiremba akandisvasira akati ndiende kuHarare hospital. Saka zvakanditorera nguva kuti ndiende kwese kune nhau dzemari, because paidi kwamari. Asi kuzvigamuchira zvakandiremera, zvakandirwadza kuti ndizvigashire.
Ini ndinoitwa Janet Mawire, ndiri mai vaNelson. Ini ndinoti ndakabereka vana vangu mune zvakanaka. 4. Uyu wechi5 ndakazomubarira pano paBwera. Ndakagashirwa nambuya Gapari. Saka vari mukutarisa mwana mbuya Gapari. Ndakavapindura ndichiti imimi ndimi makanyora pakadhi kuti mwana mukomana. But mwana uyu aita zvinhu zviviri kuti mukomana wita musikana. Mbuya vakati hatina kuzviona izvozvo. Ndikati izvo zvinotovepo mbuya. Saka mbuya vakanditransfer Murambinda. Ndobva ndaenda kwaMurambinda ndobva yandipa Mutare. Mutare ndobva yanditi moenda kuHarare kuGomo. Ndobva ndaenda kuGomo. Ndobva madhokota anoona mwana. Mwana uyu anga aine vhiki ndamupona. Manesi nemadhokota ndobva vati hatigoni kuti tiite operation mwana uyu achiri mudiki, mufana kuti muite mwedzi minaye muno. Saka ndakagara kuGomo mwedzi ndobva azoitwa operation. Aitwa operation ndakagara 10 days ndirimo muchipatara.
I'm Norman Matara. I'm a medical doctor and also the current secretary for the Zimbabwe Association of Doctors for Human Rights. Right, so when we are dealing with intersex individuals, we usually prioritize a human rights approach with a patient-centered care where we respect the autonomy and the dignity of intersex individuals. Our main focus is on educating the intersex individuals and their parents, because mostly they don't know about these conditions. So we mainly want to emphasize that intersex individuals are biological variations and are not pathological, so that we don't aim at correcting them. Our main focus is on making sure that we don't do non-consensual surgeries, but we offer psychosocial support, emotional support, and also social support to the individuals until they are grown up, and then they can make up their own decisions concerning their own health.
Working with children who are born as intersex, we have seen a lot of challenges. Firstly, I can say that from the time the mother gives birth and discover that my child is an intersex baby, sometimes they leave the baby in the hospital. Sometimes they go back home with the baby, but they also face some challenges within the family because they don't understand like what is really happening. And there's a lot of GBV which comes along with it. And also you find that at the end, some families are disconnected because of that, because there will be some back and forth. like accusing each other. We don't have this in our family. It's you who have brought this, and all sorts of accusations. So that is where we then come in as Transmart to try and assist by counseling the family, by counseling the parents, and also making sure that the baby, if there are any challenges, we also assist with referrals to hospitals.
Traditionally, the approach to intersex individuals has been to offer early medical, surgical, and hormonal treatment to intersex individuals whilst they are still young. We are against this approach, and we are happy that globally there's been a shift into promoting a more human rights-based approach to intersex individuals, where we delay surgeries until people are old enough to give their own consent. In Zimbabwe, currently, we do not have guidelines which guides our medical practitioners on how to treat intersex individuals. So we are actually pushing that there be individuals, guidelines, which clearly states how we approach intersex individuals, mainly on the issue of delaying any medical or surgical interventions until people are old enough.
I'm Sister Mandipasa. I'm the sister in charge of Bwera Rural Hospital. This is a very difficult situation, as most of our health workers lack the necessary training. Even the diagnosis part of it is very difficult. It was only recently that I went to Masvingo for a workshop. That was an eye-opener. So I came back and gave feedback to my colleagues. So it's not like we are there, but we are moving towards the diagnosis. Like we refer our clients to Murambinda, then from Murambinda maybe they are referred further to the national level. What lacks is the feedback from the national level back to our facility for those that have been diagnosed. So that's still a challenge.
Surgeries. When an intersex person is born, there are some persons who are born with ambiguous genitalia, and then the doctors then advise for surgeries, which are then performed especially to the minors without their consent. And then the surgeries, they come with a lot of complications, which is chronic pain, and also they come with they are irreversible. The scars, they are permanent and they can cause psychological trauma.
I've dealt with cases where people were offered surgery early on, and they went on. The surgeries were not beneficial at all to them. They just gave them complications like scarring, pain, psychosocial and psychological issues, whilst not addressing the issue. We've also witnessed family breakdowns where people grow up and then they find out that they were lied to by their parents. They were offered surgeries whilst they were being lied to that they are going a different surgery. And so when they grow up and they find out, they actually blame their parents, and our families actually break down because of this. We've also seen cases where people are assigned a gender, say female at birth, but when they grow up, they actually start exhibiting characteristics of a male. So it becomes difficult for them to actually survive in this country, considering the discrimination. So there are a lot of cases which we have seen that by offering early surgical care, it does not help the individuals, but it just gives them a lot of complications. But I've also seen cases where people are not offered surgical interventions early on, and they went on to live a life which is psychologically well compared to those who were offered surgery early on. So yeah, it's very difficult for us to deal with these cases early on. That's why we're always saying, let us give these people time to grow up, and then we can then decide when they are old enough.
I think for us, we are saying let the child grow. And then you see what is the dominant part which is coming out. Because if you do corrective surgery and you remove the male part and leave the female, and then as the child is growing, The male part that we have removed is the one which is now becoming dominant. That's where now you see we also have transgender, because you grew up as a boy, you are known as John when you are growing, and then the female part is now dominant. You are now being a girl, and some features are coming out as a girl, and then you face a lot of discrimination, because now people are like, what is happening to you? And also there's a lot of suicide thoughts which comes when the child is growing, to say, how come I grew up as John but now I'm like this?
Kuti havafani kuita maya surgeries. Nokuti pamasurgeries akaitwa mwana wangu inenge hapana isi akabudhira isi. Akatokuvadzwa, kutokuvadza kwakatoita. Surgery kwete. Ina handina zvangu kuoparetwa. Asi pacho pane akaoparetwa anenge achingoramba achidzoka achingooparetwa achidzoka, but at the end zvinenge zvitori wrong futi. Zvinenge zvine matambudziko pamunhu iyeye. Pakuti dzimwe dzenguva anogona kuoparetwa osara ari musikana, asi paanozokura anogona majinzi ake akawandira kuchirume.
From a human rights and legal perspective, we are concerned where we learn that there are interventions done on intersex children which are not medically necessary. These are what are sometimes termed as cosmetic surgery, where an intervention is done through either a surgery or a chemicalized intervention to ensure that an intersex person looks like a female or looks like a male. We feel this is an unnecessary violation of the rights and the best interest of the child. Often there is no guidance given to the guardians or parents, or they feel a pressure to conform. And these interventions are often done on children who are too young to consent or to know of their informed consent. We would feel it is important to defer such unnecessary cosmetic surgeries and only limit through a guideline that should be created by the Minister of Health and Childcare, to ensure that only where it is necessary and life-threatening or medically necessary should there then be such interventions.
So maybe I can say that there's still less knowledge about what it means for someone to be born in intersex. Some still regard them or take them as part of the LGBT community, and they don't realize that there are some scientific evidence which are there for someone to be born as an intersex, and also differences that are there is under the intersex umbrella. Some they don't understand, and I think that is where most of the challenges come from, even for our policymakers, our government, to start working with the intersex. But I'm happy to say that we've been sensitizing the parliamentarians, we've been sensitizing policymakers, and I'm also happy to say that the government now recognizes the intersex persons, looking at what they also agreed to in the UPR processes.
So the challenges they face stem from the non-legal recognition, which is at odds with the Constitution, which then speaks of equal treatment, the right to human dignity, the right to equal to protection, body integrity. You find all those in Section 51, Section 52 of the Constitution.
Mwana grade 6 ndakatanga kunzi mwana achauye kuno kuchikoro. Anogona kukanganisa vamwe vana pachikoro nechirwere chaainacho. Saka ndakaenda ndikanoona headmaster ndikati zvinotenderwa here zvamataura headmaster kuti mimi muti mwana ngaachirega chikoro. Vakati zvinotenderwa nekuti mwana wenyu anozogona kukanganisa vamwe vana pano. Saka akabva agumira grade 6 haana kwaakazoramba echinda nechikoro.
The government should recognize intersex people as a separate sex category for various reasons. To start with, human dignity. No person deserves to be called what they are not. We need the government to acknowledge intersex people exist. The moment they acknowledge they exist, then there will be frameworks put in place, then there will be policies, then healthcare workers will be sensitized and trained, then the community will become aware. Currently, we have a lot of hush-hush treatment, we have a lot of secretive treatment, or we have a lot of shunning, a lot of stigma that intersex people face, as well as their parents and their guardians. They tend to be stunned and left confounded with nowhere to turn. So the moment the government recognizes that intersex is a separate sex category, many things will change, including the services that they can access, including the treatment they will get in society, because everyone is entitled to equal treatment. Everyone has a right to have body integrity, where no one is experimenting on you, where no one is trying to make you conform to a certain standard that currently prevails, because there is no other category for you to be classified under.
Zviro ndekuti tione kodzero dzinotimirira sekuti kune ma-human rights, kune mitemo yakatomirira anhukadzi kuti akanzwa isu anenge abuswa, kuanhurume anonzi akanzwa anenge abuswa. Todawo iye kuma-intersex kusanganisira nema-document, kuyo ne-third sex marker yakanzi intersex. Because kuarume handifiti, kuakadzi ndiye ndisingafiti, kunyanya pakaita sepama-public toilet zvinenge zvisingafiti.
Tangaita kuti vakatichinjirawo pazvitupa nepamabhephi, vasaise female, vasaise male, vaise intersex. Nokuti munhu wacho haafite kumale, haafite kufemale. Saka vakangoisa intersex iright. Inini ndinoda kuti hurumende kana ichiisa mutemo wayo ndeyekuti isusu vanhu vasina hurema ngatiregei kuzoseka vanhu vakafanana vane madambudziko akafanana nayo. Nyangodei ndikasangana nemwana asiri wangu, ndongofanira kungonzwa umwe wangu kuti mufunge mwana wayo ane dambudziko rakafanana nemwana wangu.
The rights of intersex people are protected in terms of our constitution, insofar as it says every Zimbabwean is entitled to documentation in terms of section 35 of the constitution. Intersex people are expected to have documentation that depicts their accurate sex. Unfortunately, due to the fact that we have a Birth and Death Registration Act that currently only recognizes male and female, intersex people are not enjoying this right that is accorded to every Zimbabwean citizen. So you find they are at a disadvantage. There is non-legal recognition of intersex people currently, because whereas the constitution says every Zimbabwean is entitled to recognition, our law, our operational law, the Birth and Death Registration Act, that leads to the issuing of a birth record, which in turn leads to a birth certificate, and then which then leads to a national identity document, as well as a passport or a driver's license. They are configured to only register male and female. So you find that when an intersex child is born, they are not registered as intersex. They are assigned either male or female, which is inaccurate. And this undermines their right to legal recognition and also their right to equal treatment. What this often translates to is intersex people being at odds with laws or being at odds with any areas where vital registry is required. For example, picture a person, an intersex person going to the airport. They have a passport that says they are female, but because when they grew up and they have ambiguous genitalia, they've turned out to look like someone who has some form of male characteristics or appearances, or how they express themselves, their gender, is not coming together. There is a challenge there. We also have Section 81 of our Constitution, which speaks to the best interest of the child. Currently, these rights are not being realized in respect of intersex children, because they get a birth which seeks to fix them in two boxes that they do not fit in. And what that leads to is sometimes there being invasive surgeries done on intersex children, because people are trying to fix or trying to make an intersex child suit in within one of the two boxes. And this also means there are no medical guidelines currently in place to ensure that the treatment of intersex children is uniform and they get the same equal care.
As we reflect on these lived experiences and expert opinions, we are reminded of the urgent need for change. It's time for Zimbabwe to embrace all its citizens, recognizing intersex as part of the rich tapestry of human diversity. Together, we can create a future where every individual is recognized and celebrated for who they are.